Hey guys, I'm Crystal,
And I'm Ken, and this is Beyond the Satchel.
where we deliver more than just the mail.
Beyond the satchel, beyond the job, I'm done with my rounds. Now I'm heading for the battlegrounds. Beyond the satchel, let's take our stand. Scream our battle cry, and echo it across the land. Hey.
I think it's working. Is it working?
I
Is it
don't know why.
working?
Started thinking,
Hello? Why are you not getting this, Crystal? Oh, it's live.
Yeah, it is recording.
oh wait, you're recording? Oh Jesus! I just noticed it. You see, that's
Wait,
why
stop.
she was being
This-
quiet.
This is gonna go on the bloopers. We gotta have it on the bloopers. Did you check? You should check out the other blooper.
Oh my God, so funny,
No.
man! I gotta wipe the tears out of my.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back. We have another wonderful guest here with us, and of course, other, co-host guy.
Oh man.
You got the.
You know what? Hey guys, I'm Ken, and that's Crystal. And this is Beyond the Satchel. We brought us special guest, good old buddy, Mr. Scott Vana. Well, I not said your name, so I was gonna tell you to introduce yourself. So you might have to say your name again, but go ahead, brother.
All right, everyone. Hello, my name is Scott Vana. I am a letter carrier out of the Lamont and Bolingbrook office. And I'm a United States Army veteran. I served from 2002 to 2005. First duty station outside of basic training was over at Camp Hovey, Korea. Served with Alpha Company, 1st Battalion, 9th Infantry Regiment, mechanized. If you don't know what mechanized means, just think tanks. After I got done in IPCS to Fort Campbell, PCS means permanent change of station. I ended up at Fort Campbell over in Kentucky. Served with the 101st Airborne Division, which is Alpha Company, 2nd Battalion, 327th Infantry Regiment, Air Assault. And I happen to also be a letter carrier. Otherwise, I don't know why I would be here. God, I don't know why. I just think that's funny.
Well,
And,
no, even if you wasn't, I'm sorry to cut you off. Even if you wasn't a letter carrier, this show we're reaching out to the general public, everybody, the doctors, from the gas station clerk, from the guy, the homeless guy on the curb that see the mailman every day. If he wants to get on the show and talk, hey, let's do it.
Yep, give him a platform. And I'm also very happy to have had the opportunity to join all of you. And I want you to know that I really do appreciate you inviting me. You know, I've also been a union steward primarily when I first came into the union, 2016 to 2018, I believe. And then I took some time away and I tried the management thing, which was an absolute nightmare to say the least. And this is going to get into my first point. The main problem that all of us have that the general public doesn't know about postal management is that they are unable to make an independent decision to settle issues that happen on our workroom floor. Some of these reasons is why you may hear us talk about grievances all the time. Some of the information that I was actually able to pull up when it came to Postal Service financial losses actually has a lot to do with the grievance procedure. In 2025, the Postal Service was estimated to pay out between $200 and $300 million. The majority of those funds going towards carriers and clerks. The carriers, which are represented by the NALC, or National Association of Letter Carriers. And then the clerks union, which is APWU, the American Postal Workers Union. So when you hear them talking on TV about the post office always claiming that they're broke, there's a big difference between them claiming poverty versus what they have on hand. The Postal Service is estimated to have approximately $17 billion on hand to cover operating expenses. A lot of people don't know that they can also take loans from the government, which I believe are capped around $3 billion right now, roughly. So the office is able to actually get money to help cover their operating expenses. You know, talking a little bit more about volume. You hear about all the post offices going broke. The post office isn't necessarily going broke. If they can work on the political end of things, which is going to go into one of the reasons why I know that you and Crystal are going so hard trying to raise funds for our PACs, to actually find politicians and leaders that are willing to back our causes, to make sure that things are fair, to ensure that we are able to stay financially viable. But I also see where President Trump is coming from when he wants to put the service under the Department of Commerce and the talk of that P word that no one likes, privatization. My question to all of our listeners and carriers, why would privatization, constantly come up and be a point of contention? There has to be a reason for it. We all hate that word privatization because many, many great middle-class jobs would be lost if we were to privatize. But at the same point, you need to also get curious, why does that word keep coming up? If the Postal Service is constantly saying on their Form 10K that there are constant net losses, it only makes sense why that word would come up. So the question is what is going to be done to assist the Postal Service from a legislation point of view to make things financially viable? If the service is taking out loans to cover operating expenses, that money doesn't come out of thin air. So once again, that goes into the political aspect of things. What are our leaders truly fighting for? Are they fighting for a photo op? Are they truly fighting for us? Or is it just another contention to go against the opposition just because that's what the party does? The right answer should be, in my opinion, you're fighting for your constituents, because I've heard both of you say that we are the constituents of our legislative leaders. There is a way to work everything out, but it all starts with truth and transparency. If we're not going to be truthful and transparent, how can we expect anybody else to be that way if we're not setting that example? And I will go ahead and I will cite our current president, Brian Renfro, who has been beyond mysterious with some of the things that he has done on national. From a union standpoint, how do you expect all 200,000 of us to trust you when you can't be honest, when you hide things, and then you start retaliating against people, your own members? There's a little bit of concern there, in my opinion. So, those are just some of my preliminary thoughts and things I've had a little bit of time to think about. So one thing I would like to commend both of you on is increasing the branch's letter carrier political fund, the amount of people that actually contribute. It's not easy to do that. In fact, you have a very long road ahead of you to get me to start contributing, but I want you to know that I start contributing again. But I'll tell you when I'll start contributing. I want to see our union start giving us monthly updates about who we're talking to in Congress and the status of what those conversations are, what they're about. Let the membership know that you're working to make this a bipartisan union instead of a partisan union. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and I'll break some of it down. According the letter carrier political fund has a rough estimate going to the Democrats between 65 and 70% of the letter carrier political funds that we actually have. And then the rest, 30 to 35%, go to Republicans. Bipartisan should be as close to 50-50 as possible. And that's one of the reasons why I told you that we need to start having updates on who we're talking to, what the conversations are about, and how they're progressing towards us as a union achieving our goals, which would be obviously financial stability for the service, getting bipartisan support for the legislation, such as, the Protect the Letter Carriers Act and the Retirement Fairness Act. The way that I see it is that there's absolutely no reason why the postal police need to be sitting in a car patrolling the plants when you have hundreds of carriers to thousands of carriers out in a district that are delivering the mail that have only themselves and then the goodwill of our customers and the people that are passing by if something happens. We need to be protected because we are not allowed to be armed and carry concealed. We are not allowed to have weapons on the job. If we get attacked or something, we need to give up the mail. Absolutely. That's policy, that's procedure. But at the same point, I speak for myself, everyone, and these are my opinions and views. It doesn't reflect the NALC, Crystal, Ken, or any member of Branch 4016 or anyone that I name. It's all me, Scott Vana. Times are changing, law enforcement changes with time, and the Postal Service changes with time as well. But the one thing that doesn't change is how stingy the service is when it comes to protecting us. What the general public doesn't understand about the service is that they look like they're doing the right thing, that they're honest, that they're ethical, they're compliant with whatever they need to be compliant with. The realities are is that letter carrier is always under attack by management for us to constantly move fast. They want us to do 8 hours of work, but they want us to do 10 hours of work within that 8 hour time period.
Or 16, you know.
Plus, it doesn't help that our most recent contract allows us to go beyond the 1260 limits, which is 12 hours in a day, 60 hours in a work week.
And now a carrier could volunteer to go over if they choose to, correct? If I'm
Absolutely. They can
and
volunteer to go over that.
yeah, and then sometimes our management, we have them good managers, we have the bad managers, and sometimes the bad manager will try to manipulate that and say, for I use me for example, if I didn't know the contract, I'd be like, well, no. And then when it comes to discipline, if we're getting ready to file a grievance as a union steward, and we say the carrier tells us, "Hey, I didn't say I wanted to go back out. He told me I had to go back out." So they could try to change the words around just to manipulate the carriers, the ones that don't really know the contract like that. So that's a lot of times I encountered that already in the office.
I've heard the quote is like voluntold.
Yeah,
You
voluntold.
know,
That's the word I was
yeah,
trying to look for.
yeah. I mean, you've got people that have more subdued personalities, or they're afraid that yeah, they are going to get disciplined if they tell management no. Management, they can come after you so hard, or you work in an office where you've got them on your ass all of the time, and you tell them no, well, it's going to make the next day that much more miserable, or that there's going to be some sort of retaliation, and then you got to try and prove that and hope that it goes through with the grievance process, and we all know that takes time.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very true. And so that's going to lead me to something that I'd like to advise everyone about. There's nothing in the contract that says you cannot write down verbatim the dates, time, and people involved of something that happened, what management said to you. If anything, if they're going to waste our time, then we pull out that notebook and we start taking notes and we write down everything that was said. And you tell management that you need to slow down so I can finish writing my notes. Plain
Yeah,
and
exactly.
simple, we create our evidence based on what is being said. There's no reason for anyone to be dealing with any increased period of stress on the work floor. There's a reason, and it's not a good reason for this to happen. And I'm not an advocate of violence in any way, shape, or form. But I do believe in self-defense 100% of the time, and there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But when the amount of stress on the workroom floor gets to a certain point that somebody breaks, you have an incident like the Royal Oak, Michigan shooting that took the lives of innocent people. That is what we strive to control. We do not need violence on the workroom floor. What we need is managerial compliance, a stressful work environment that gets stressless over time. We don't need stress. We need compliance. We need people to be kind, compassionate, and see us as a person, not an employee identification number or EIN for us postal people. We're not numbers. We are people. We get tired. We get burnt out. We get hurt. We don't feel like coming to work. We need some mental health days, etc. We're only human.
Exactly. That's kind of funny, because the show that we just recorded, I kind of said something similar to that effect. They don't understand that we're not robots. We get tired. We break down. I only been here 4 years, and look, I'm already having knee problems. It comes over. Hey, let's get this done. You get this done, and you're trying to work. You're trying to do this. Your body needs a full 8 hours of rest. And as a letter carrier, we're not getting a full 8 hours of rest because hell, by the time I get home, if I'm doing 7 to 8 or 8 to 8, 8:30. I get home. I'm gonna sit down. I gotta take a shower, bath, see the kids and the wife. Probably sit down for a minute and watch some TV or something. Hell, I got 2 dogs. I gotta let them out and walk them and do all that. And by the time I sit down, I'm like, oh shit, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me take a quick nap or something. Wake up, it's like, oh, I got to go back to work. So
Can you have children? Crystal, I don't know if you have children, but
she
all
got
of
two little ankle biters.
okay,
No,
so
no,
they're
just
fur
one of
babies.
them's an ankle biter. The other one's, good 65 pounds.
Okay,
Oh,
so a
okay,
knee
Size.
biter.
okay.
But it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. The fact is that we all have families and family dynamics that involve fur babies and all that stuff, and all of that takes time. We have responsibilities outside of work, and when we start spending more time at work, less time at home, that's going to increase the amount of stress, and it makes us more susceptible to fatigue, injury, and burnout.
Exactly. And then, let's see, for example, management on the other hand, you got a manager come in at what, 3 o'clock in the morning? They're gone at 12. You got the next manager come in at what, 8? They're gone at 4. And hell, we're there 12 hours and stuff like that. So they're getting to go home at a decent time.
Yeah,
And even the manager that closed at night, they got half the day where they're at home. They're getting breaks in between. We're not getting breaks in between.
yeah.
So they're getting rest. So when they're coming in, hey, you should be doing this. Come on, come on, come on. Did you realize I got off at 11 o'clock at night and had to come back at 7 in the morning while you was asleep? And that goes to the stress factor and stuff like that. So before my phone disconnected, you was on the P word. I wanna swing back to that P word, which is the anti-privatization resolution. Um, do you feel this? Because I know it's your opinion, our own opinions. Do you feel that if the post office is privatized, do you feel that would affect jobs for letter carriers, the truck drivers, mail handlers, clerks, etc.?
Well, there's no
Hell,
doubt in my
even management. I'm sorry, even management. I forgot them because they forget us. So
yeah, it's very easy to forget about them. But in my opinion, we all know anytime there's change, it affects everybody. I wish I could speak to what the potential extent would be, but I don't know. The one thing that I know that is almost for certain is that if the service were to be privatized in part, because what people don't know is that there are parts of the service that are privatized. We have 18 wheelers. Yes, the service has truck drivers that transport mail, but we also have contractors that pick up the mail and transport it for us. The big thing is that right now I would imagine that the contractors are on par with what our people would have done, but they still give the contractors time limits too. I don't know if you've been in your station after hours and the drivers are on the dock picking stuff up, and it's like, oh hey, I'm running late. Can I get a late slip?
yeah,
Because they have to account for all that time as well. I think that the service would be forced to make certain operational changes when it comes to efficiency. I think that would benefit our customers in part from an efficiency standpoint if part of it was privatized.
okay. What about if they get rid of the contractors and hire create jobs within the post office? Say for instance, if you want to go be an 18-wheeler driver for the post office, give you that opportunity to go out and drive the 18-wheelers. Maybe that will save the post office more money or something like that. That will prevent, to me, that in my opinion, that I think that will save some money for the post office and create more jobs for people that already applied for the post office and not using contractors, giving us them full-time jobs.
You have a solid point there, Ken. When you give craft employees opportunity, you're giving opportunity to the people that have already been introduced to the service, understand how it works, whether you're a clerk, a mail handler, you're on the dock over at the plant, you're operating machinery, or perhaps a sortation belt that does the high speed scanning and dumping into bins for parcels, or if you're delivering mail, you already know what the service is about. Stonewalling us to keep us in our positions because you need people to deliver mail or distribute parcels or handle mail, that is not the best way to get efficiency out of your employees. Because now you're starting to bring up, was it because I'm white? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm Chinese? So you get into the racism aspect of things. Did that play part of it? Is it something sexist? Is it because I have a misdemeanor? Is it because they just don't like me? Like, what is the reason for that denial of opportunity?
Right.
This is America. This is a country that is the only natural melting pot on this earth, where you can come from anywhere, any part of this globe, with any lifestyle you want, and you can live that way here. Why would you deny people that want to do the job the opportunity to do it? That saves money because, number one, they're already here. Two, they likely are already trained. You don't have to have the expense of going through background checks and urinalysis. That's
And
money
then,
right there. That's a controllable cost.
yeah, and then even so, for instance, let's use us for example. We're all us city leather carriers, right? We been in office. Well, I don't know about. I haven't been in you guys' office, but in my office, if the clerk's not there, we know how to do the job of the clerk, like toss the parcel, sort the mail to get it to the right cases, so we could get out there. Let's just say the peak season come and we're fully staffed as drivers, but the city side need carriers. We can come back and carry mail because we're already trained. You're utilizing your people. You're utilizing your finances because now you can just, hey, Scott, I need you to go back to your office. Your route's covered as driving. We just need somebody back at your office to help carry the mail. I'm pretty sure you'll love to go back and see your customers and stuff like that. That's another opportunity to save money and help with staffing issues.
Yeah, I agree, but on the flip side, we would have to be one consolidated union.
Exactly. Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not. We're four separate unions that handle the majority of the mail handling, distribution, and transportation of all mail pieces and parcels. It's a good idea, but unfortunately, it's just not feasible right now because of the separation.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
mean, maybe sometimes they can. I don't know. I'm just a little fish in the big sea, so maybe they can put something in the contract that helps that out in the future if that comes about.
no, I agree
So
with you, but I will say this: while I am a conservative, some people would say Republican, far right. And I'm a conservative because I listen. I will tell you this: I don't agree with President Trump's wanting to privatize the Postal Service, and it's not because, oh, there goes Scott's job. I can go anywhere and make money. But just like you, Crystal and Ken, and all of our other fellow carriers, we do this job with pride. We take our job seriously. We are kind, courteous, and professional. But here's another reason why privatizing probably isn't going to help. Back in 2019, I was a T6, and for our listeners that don't know what that is, that's a carrier technician. Carrier technicians have a swing of 5 separate routes. They do one route per day that the regular carrier is off. I happened to be on City Route 2. I was it was actually a little bit of a warmer day, and I decided to take a break. And during my breaks, when I do park and loop, I collate. I'll collate, 3 or 4 relays. And I have this little kid that comes up to my vehicle, my LOV, steps in, climbs on my lap, sitting on the mail trays, turning the steering wheel, trying to turn the key, pressing the horn, and walking around. I don't know how you would feel if that was you, but that was scary. I asked him, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Scott. What's your name? Where's your mom and dad? Do you live here?" And all I got were a little bit of mumbles. I'd call 911. I call the police and I let them know that, "Hi, my name is Scott Vana. I'm a carrier. I'm on Link Street, so and so. And this young child has just climbed on top of me and came inside my LLV, and I don't see any parents around. Can you please send an officer immediately?" They send an officer out. While I'm waiting for the officer, the young man is in the back, going through my parcels, messing with the spurs, whatever. My door's open, called 911. Now I'm on the phone with management, letting them know what's going on. They told me just stand by, don't worry about it. Once law enforcement is there, and they take over, then you can go ahead and get back to work. I start hearing someone's talking loud, and I look out my side mirror and I get out and I'm like, hey, did any of you lose a kid? And they're like, yeah, where is he? And I'm like, he's in the back of my truck right now. Mom and dad come running along. They get their son, get him out. And then the ma tells me, not just a thank you, but thank you very much for looking out for my son. He is an autistic mute that doesn't speak. That's how valuable the letter carrier is to our community. And that's something that privatization will not do, which is look out for our communities because they're worried about the bottom line.
Exactly. And you see Amazon have a family member that works for Amazon, and they hate it because one, if you pay attention, a lot of people gonna start looking at this when they're pulling into the delivery, whatever getting ready to deliver. When they get ready to deliver to my house, if our block has 5 packages that has to get, each house has a package, 5 houses, they will pull literally in the middle of the street or close to the curb, and that person will get out and not move the vehicle but run from 5 houses. That's to conserve gas, and they get the point deduction, whatever, from moving the truck after so many stops. And when they told me that, I said, that is bananas.
Yeah.
So it's about, hey, pushing out the product. I mean, we do the same thing. We move the mail, move the package, but we also are the face of the community. We also talk to, like Scott said, we look out for the kids out there on the block. We watch the kids grow up. We watch the dogs from puppies grow old. The elderly. We pay attention to, hey, Mrs. Lee, her mailbox is overflowing. Let me check on her. Hey, you okay? Yeah, she hurt herself. That's why she haven't got her mail. Or hey, let me pull the garbage up for the elder lady. They appreciate that because a lot of times the elderly don't have that family member that's coming to check on them every day, and that letter carrier is out there on the streets every single day, even on Sunday, rain, sleet, or snow. We out there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and every last one of us, and this goes back once again to us being humans. Every last one of us, we make connections with these people in the communities. If it's not for us, the city letter carrier, our labor is the reason the service exists. Their trust in the service is based on how they interact with us and the people that are behind the counters at, the sales and service associates, the clerks, the people that are at the window that come to pick up the mail at an annex. Everybody has a part to play, but the service's success is highly dependent on how they view us, the city letter carrier. And I want to go back and tell you an update about what happened. About 4 years ago, maybe 3, the mother of this autistic mute child moved onto my route, and I've been able to watch the kid grow up. Still mute, but attempts to talk a little bit more, and he's growing well. And I'm very happy to see it. And his mom still recognizes me, and once in a while we talk. And so it makes me feel really good as a person, just knowing that I could be there for someone,
Right.
You were talking about seniors. One of my favorite seniors that I've known for 6 years, over at the village in Lamont, she had passed away back in September, and it hurts. Once again, this is something that management doesn't know. Like, these things affect all of us from a psychological standpoint because we're out there and we're getting to talk to these people, and we are that little bit of sunlight,
Exactly.
that bright spot in a dark day for some of them that are by themselves. I think that's something that a lot of people that hate the service need to realize. Whether you're a member of the community, whether you're a political leader, a representative, Republican, Democrat, anyone that's against the service, that's that's being against the American people, because we all rely on it in some way, shape, or form. Because it's not just about the mail and the parcels. It truly is about the people, because none of that stuff exists without them.
Exactly. And what 200 and well 250 years. This is 2026 now, so we're gonna hit 251 pretty soon. So,
Yeah.
but 250 years of providing a service, that should say something to the American people. Yeah, we know time right as of now, times are being tough, shortage on staffing. People are it's jobs are scarce. It's hard. People are not wanting to really work like that, but you have them people out there, the carriers that's really want to get out there and get the job done, that want to service their community, want to service the customers.
Yeah.
Um, I just got back from vacation and I get back and I'm looking at my route like, what the hell? And one of my fellow carriers like, we tried to get it out, and the first thing they said, well, they said, oh, he'll be here, he'll take care of it. That right there, it said something to me like, you don't fucking care. It's all about the numbers.
Yeah.
So, and to me, I wonder was that mail reported delayed. I wonder if that mail was, um, if anybody saw the mail and reported it, But we never know unless, and that's where the grievance procedures come in too with delayed mail.
We had a successful settlement on that with who's now our manager. We caught him delaying the mail, and we regularly document it at our office, and we file a grievance. You
Yeah.
have no right to delay the people and their mail. You don't have the right to delay that mail just because you're short staffed. You know, if you look at the fiscal year 25 labor overtime statistics, the service paid out $1.7 billion more in mandatory overtime in fiscal year 2025 because of the staffing shortages. Ladies and gentlemen, our most recent union contract stated during the, and I have to say this, arbitration period, and I have to say it like that, arbitration period. If you look at the settlement, it says clearly it was mediation. Mr. Renfro, you need to stop lying, because we have you caught red-handed.
so
But
so
that
we
it
was
said that we were 40 to 50% turnover. That right there is a controllable cost. If you treat people like people, you follow the contractual updates, give new employees some routine so they can learn the basics. Every employee that is hired by any company, corporation, LLC, whatever it might be, there will always be an initial loss with hiring a new employee. It takes time to train them and time for them to get some experience. But overall, that employee will be productive and profit whoever they work for if you put the time in. The
exactly.
service needs to understand this over in Washington, that your management is not doing this, that they come after us regularly. Why do you think you're paying $200 to $300 million a year in grievances, which are controllable costs that could easily be cut through one simple word? And that's compliance, Postmaster General Steiner. Compliance. Something you and DeJoy don't know.
I mean that'll save a lot of money, money that, in my opinion, can be used to go into our pockets because we're out there doing the hard labor, and the pockets of clerks, city letter carriers, mail handlers, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody that works in the post office, that money could be used to go into us to help us better our lives and also be comfortable coming back and forth to work.
Yeah.
So that way, hey, that way nobody has to work all this overtime because we're already getting paid. And then we was talking about the service as in privatization. How do you feel with the if it gets privatized? That means the access to the cluster boxes, apartment buildings, that will affect our customers. Me personally, I don't want Amazon. If I had a cluster box, I don't want Amazon to have access to my cluster box. I don't want Amazon to have access to my apartment buildings because they don't do the background checks. They don't do the details that we have to go through with the post office. So I mean, I hate to say it, they hire anybody. That's why they fire so many people.
Well, they pay them to leave as well. You know, for all my Amazon brothers and sisters out there, you will need to start growing more of a backbone and have a unified voice so you can tell the employer what's going on and that you're not going to stand for the systemic abuses to profit shareholders. The relationship between employee and employer is symbiotic. If Amazon and their actual shareholders want to profit, then they need to start paying all of you what you're worth. And that's something a lot of you need to think long and hard about. Come to the service. We fight with each other. But at the end of the day, we still have a unified voice, and we push that shit management puts on us right back uphill. And we are successful over 93% of the time. So if you want to check it out, everyone, it's www.usps.com/careers. And they're hiring nationwide.
Because we need all the people, everybody. Come on.
If you live in a community, you can easily become one of us.
So I've been here 4 years. It has been hell. But eventually you hear the people say, oh, it's gonna get easy. It's gonna get easy. It eventually gets easy because you develop the skill set to carry the mail, to how to maneuver through the routes, and you're learning the area and you're learning how to do the job. And as long as you stand out there being safe and X, Y, and Z, and then notice you're out there in the rain, you're out there in the snow, you're out there when hell it's 3 o'clock and if it's 3 o'clock and it's fucking look like it's 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah, and definitely, you know what, Ken and Crystal, and both of you are bringing up a really good point right now. Safety, safety, safety. If it's cold outside and you're getting cold, you need to take a warming break. No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, the mail needs to get delivered. Yeah, the mail will get delivered after you warm up a little bit. Oh, hey, I'm really hot right now. Perfect. Take a cooling break and get some water, get some Gatorade or some kind of electrolyte replacement like Liquid IV. No, this is not an endorsement, but it tastes pretty good. But little things like that. The mail can't get delivered if you're not going to take care of yourself and leave work in the same condition in which you entered. And that's called in one piece.
Exactly. And then if you, I'm sorry to cut you off, Scott, but if you get up in the morning and you're feeling like crap and you just can't, you feel like you just can't do it, do what's best for your body. I'm not telling nobody to call off, but I know if I feel like shit, I am not coming to work, because especially in the heat, if I'm tired, I'm sick, I feel like I'm just drained, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure, because at the end of the day, if I'm like this, if I'm gone, nobody's going to take care of my family like I'm going to take care of. So the way I come into work, like Scott said, I'm leaving like that. I mean, I might scratch my pants up or fall a little bit here and there and slip, but I'm coming back in one piece.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. And that's exactly what you should do. And, you know, for a lot of the new carriers that are out there and even our experienced carriers, fatigue is a valid reason to put on a 3996, because you're telling the supervisor that you are tired. They can't do anything to you because you're open, honest, and transparent. Right? They have to do something to abate a situation, because remember, safety, it's management's responsibility to provide a safe working environment, and that includes them making decisions that keep us safe.
Filling out 3996 or 1767 as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you need to make sure that, you know, it's like Aaron said, you got to make sure that everything's turned in. You make sure the union steward knows. You make sure if your office has a safety coordinator that they know, and it needs to be taken care of immediately. And that's something else that the public doesn't know, is that management regularly denies medical care and refuses to give us our incident report if one of us gets hurt. A carrier in my office took a nasty spill this past Friday, and she's a new CCA, and she had blood dripping all over her pants. Our manager didn't offer her medical attention at all. To say that I was angry is beyond an understatement. That's something that many of us deal with in our offices, ladies and gentlemen. The reality of the situation is that one of the problems that we have with management isn't just some of their unprofessional rhetoric and unethical actions. Let me give you a question that everyone should be curious about. The service constantly pleads poverty and that they're running out of money and that they're losing billions of dollars a year. Well, management has something that's called a pay for performance bonus, which shouldn't exist anywhere in any government organization, entity established under a branch of government like the service.
Is
That is
this
called
the
a controllable cost.
is this the bonus that everybody say they never
The
get?
pay for performance bonus incentive based on their numbers. That right there, their bonuses are based off of our hard labor. We don't get anything. We get overtime, we get injuries, we get stress, we get burnout. So they can make extra money for sitting on a chair and moistening it. But since I said it, it's out there. I don't care.
Oh,
That's how it is. There's no reason
we're
why.
keeping that in there, right?
Oh yeah, I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I hate that so much.
Or it need to go in a blooper reel or something. I say leave it in there. Come on, it got to go in there. It has this
Crystal,
has to go in there.
Crystal, I trust you, Jordan. Don't listen to Ken.
Hey, the only time, like Scott said, the only time management sit in that chair all day long, and the only time they're risk to injury, I believe I'm gonna quote Corey on this, is them getting up out the chair. That's the only time they risk the injury. If I said it right. So, and they literally sit there all day long, and then the first thing you have, I didn't hear the phone. If we call in for emergency, they don't answer the phone. And I don't recommend nobody use a cell phone to call management. Our phones, this is a big issue in my office. Our phones are not for management to call us, to bully us, harass us, intimidate us. Everything should be sent through the scanners. That's the MDD. That's the scanners we carry around. That's how they communicate with us. If they need to talk to us verbally, one, they can get their ass out the chair, or two, they can send a message and say, hey, either report back to the office or go to the nearest post office and give me a phone call.
Yep.
So,
and this public service announcement brought to you by Ken Pratt is also brought to you in part by Pepsi, the choice of the older generation.
this is the second time we done had drinks in the episode.
Since we're talking about drinks, Mexican Coke is so good, and the bottle made in Mexico, real sugar. Oh
yeah.
Oh man, it's so good. $43 for a case of 24, though. I don't know. Get down to about 38 and we'll talk.
Oh,
almost sounds like a vibe.
All right. So how do you feel about two I'm gonna give you two questions in one, basically. How do you feel about this half of a contract we got? I don't know if you can see my fingers. Half of a contract we got, and going into the bargaining time for the new contract, what do you want to see different that we didn't get in this half of contract we got that we waited so long for, and versus the new one?
We waited 2 years for nothing. We virtually got nothing. The Postal Service got a free pass to let people work as much overtime as they want without a significant wage increase after all of our sacrifices delivering through the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was a slap in the face. David Noble did a calculation, and the rough estimate was each one of us is missing approximately $3,000 plus and minus because our wages didn't keep up with the cost of inflation. Once again, going into controllable costs. If the service didn't have one supervisor or managerial staff member per 9 craft employees and go back to the 1 to 22 and actually make management complete their work, that right there is a controllable cost and cost saving measure. The easiest way to cut costs is put qualified personnel in those positions. Give them work to do and ensure that they have the ability to do it in the same way that we are able to do our work. A stressless environment, all the tools necessary to complete what the mission is, and pay people what they're worth. Anyway, going back to how I feel about the contract, it's subpar at best. It doesn't address our needs to get more people. It doesn't put protections. It actually takes protections away from us for fixed work times, 12 hours in a work day, 60 hours in a work week. There's absolutely no reason that any of us should be working any more than 8 hours in a day, though. Staffing is the employer's problem, not our problem. It's not our place to make decisions when they get paid to do it. Something I was running through one of the guys in the office, one of the stewards, is that when management's starting to ask us to make decisions about things they need to make choices on, I had actually ran the idea by them. I think we need to file a grievance because they don't have us on a 1723 higher level to make that decision, because that's a managerial function, not a carrier function. Hey, how much is an hour? Use your tool and tell me.
Mm-hmm. Well, Doris says this. Well, according to the computer, I don't give a damn what your computer says. My legs tell me how long it's going to take me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a professional carrier. My 3996 tell you, hey, I got delayed mail, and it's going to take me this amount of time. Well, you walk the route every day. I don't care. My mail is heavier. It's snow outside. Oh, wait, hold on. You can't predict how long you're going to be out there because there's snow on the ground. And how my facial expression just was, and I wanted to tell the supervisor, no shit, Sherlock, it's snow out there, so I'm going to walk slower, and I might slip, might fall, so I have to be safe.
Yeah.
So I am predicting how long it's going to take me, because I'll give you the estimate. So
since you're bringing snow up, both of you weren't working at the Postal Service when we had the polar vortex, but they recalled us. I was walking over in Lamont. I was actually on a park and loop route at the time. We got down to like -50 with the wind chill. And that was absolutely crazy. They called us back when I was about halfway through the route. They told us to go ahead and just case everything, and then you can leave and take annual leave. Most of us just stayed. We all stayed. I stayed all 3 days. We didn't deliver mail for 3 days until that vortex passed. On the fourth day, that was interesting because I couldn't. I had 19 relays and 1 hour of businesses / apartments. I could not carry more than half of the houses between my arms and my satchel. I couldn't carry any parcels, any spurs. I couldn't do anything. They didn't plan ahead. They weren't trying to do anything. They didn't try to do any parcel delivery. And I mean, this is at the peak. We had Amazon at the time, and they really, really hit us hard when I started in 2014. I've got 11 years on the job already, and that went fast. But, talking about something that I want to see in the next contract, the union needs to go ahead and do two big things outside of pay increases. I'll go three. One, you need to eliminate fractional COLAs. It needs to be all. We are all affected by inflation equally, plain and simple. Two, we need the opportunity to convert our overtime into a comp time bank. We all have things that happen. Some of us might get injured. We might have to go out and have a procedure done. Sick leave, you only get 12, 13 days a year. Vacation, you get up to 5 weeks, but people have plans. People want to spend time with the family, and sometimes there are issues that happen and people run out of all of that. The ability to take our overtime work and put it into a compensation time bank is one of the easiest ways to ensure that we do not lose out on any of our benefits. And that includes retirement time. Because remember, we actually start losing time, after 80 hours, 80 hours of LWOP, leave without pay?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I think we start losing, whatever the pay period amount of time for sick leave and annual leave is. But that's something that we need. We definitely need to have a comp time bank.
And what is it we get for every pay period is 4 hours for sick? So we get 8 hours a month?
Yeah, so it's like 12 sick days a year.
Yeah, so me personally, I think that's something too that we needed to discuss, because how many times do people get sick? How many times do kids get sick? And you telling me I'm only gonna get 8 hours a month basically, and that covers one day.
Yeah, well, heck,
So
you get the flu, you're knocked out for could be a week.
week or
Two.
possibly longer.
Yeah.
And
So
God forbid if it turns into something like walking pneumonia, where you get
Hmm.
fluid in the lungs. I've had that before. I had that when I was in Korea serving in the army. I, I was out for 3 weeks, like 3 weeks, light duty, no PT, and just walk. That's all that they would let me do. That
then
and a bunch of antibiotics.
yeah, and I think that should be something that should be talked about and pushed that, hey, we need to get our carriers more sick time. I mean, because we end up having to burn through annual if we get sick. And I don't think that's right because annual is supposed to be used for vacation time or personal things.
Mhm.
Sick should be for sick use. So I think that's a way that, to me, that's a way they use. Oh, you out of sick time, so now you got to use your annual. Guess what? You ain't got enough annual time to take a vacation or X, Y, and Z in this way, and you're shorting yourself on pay. So
Yeah. We also need a minimum 2 personal days a year. We need a personal day bank where we get 2 guaranteed per year, and there's no repercussion, but we know what they'll do if that happens. They will use it against us like they do everything else. So, fix the colas. Everybody gets the same cola, 100%. And obviously a pay increase would be nice. And the service has to hire, plain and simple. The service needs to hire, and they need to have an automatic remedy to adjudicate all of the grievances at every single level and activate the B teams to clear the backlogs. Plain and simple. It needs to be done, and the service needs to be held accountable. The only other thing I could think of I want to see is the service have a dedicated OJI program that runs every quarter.
also getting like our something in there, get our safety teams out there to visit these offices, something to get like you said, the OJIs, getting people trained for OJI training. um Also the mentor programming. I mean, we just started that this last year, and going, hopefully this NERF program is really helps with the newer people, retain them, hopefully. But management still is not complying with that and act like they don't understand where that's coming from, or act like they didn't do the damn training. Just speaking about it pisses me off because I just, when I got off work, I was, it was a young lady that just started. I'm looking at the supervisor like, why is she not back with me? She's I said no, she should be back. And I literally told her, like, you need to call her, get her off the street. That was me being the steward and trying to say, hey. And I even gave the supervisor, here's the paperwork on the nurse program. You need to read it if you didn't take the training. That way, or request to take the training. That way, for this won't happen again. And generally, I understood she truly didn't understand what was going on. And when I told her and explained it, she said, okay, I got you, Ken. So okay, so we need to get her back. What we usually do on the show is ask whoever comes on the show, um, what do you do beyond the satchel?
Actually, I want to add one other thing to the contract, and I can't believe I completely forgot about this because I talk about it in the office all the time. In
Go
the
ahead.
military, we have something that's called CIF, which is Central Issuing Facility. And in units, it's also called quartermaster. And the service needs to establish in each district a centralized quartermaster facility where carriers can go in and trade out their uniforms and shoes for new equipment. That's something that the service needs because that's another means of cost control. Pants are running $105. Shirts are running $65. Cold weather pants are running nearly $300. They actually have a jacket, a winter jacket, and hood that comes separately that costs more than the $500 allowance that we get every single year. The
Yeah,
service needs to make some serious steps forward to make sure that if they want us in uniform, then they need to provide everything that we need, because that's contractual. If a uniform is part of the job, that's a tool that we need to have to get the job done. Therefore, we don't need an allowance. They need to have a central issuing facility. That's the last thing that we need. So what do I
uh,
do beyond the satchel? Well, Ken, you caught me. I was just recently paroled for some. No, so I actually have a second career. I am a licensed real estate agent, and I'm with Keller Williams Infinity. I do that after work, and then I'm also still a pretty good gamer after all these years. You know, I'm 41 now. I've been gaming since Atari. You know,
Atari?
yeah, I've been gaming since Atari, man. Bringing up the PS5 and Steam now.
You really showing your age there, brother.
What? The receding hairline didn't give it away at all?
Like, look,
Crystal, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry. You're good. But yeah, beyond the satchel, I'm actually a licensed realtor. I'm almost done with my second year.
Okay, cool. So you guys out there, you guys looking for a house? You better hit up Scott. And
Yeah.
so, I guess that's what he does beyond the satchel. Besides carrying the satchel on his route, day to day, taking care of his customers and all that, etc. And brother, I appreciate you coming on. Crystal and we've been before we started, like it took us a couple of months before we was like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it.
Here's hoping that we can actually get some momentum to actually force the service to start doing the right thing, not just from a union perspective, hopefully without filing grievances, but highly doubtful. But from the point of view, the service, you can't accomplish a mission if you don't have the personnel to get it done.
Like, brother, I welcome you to come back on at any time. You got my number, you got Crystal's number. We talked a little bit earlier. We'll want you to come back on because, like you said, you have a bit different perspective of what many others are afraid to dish out. And I know we did leadership class together. We talked a lot of times, and I know your point of view, my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why me and you get along real well. We butted heads a couple of times, but it's all out of love. So,
it's the human condition, bud. It happens.
Yeah. So, like I said, this is Beyond the Satchel. I'm Ken. We got Mr. Scott Vana and Crystal over there. What is that shirt you got on? That's like Aloha or Aloha?
No, it's at the college I went to.
I'm trying to see too, Scott. I can't see. What does it say?
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to forgive me. My
Aquinas.
age is showing again. Aquinas College. Where's that at?
It is in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to them.
All right, people, you heard the man. Get those applications in. I want to see some acceptance letters. Chop, chop.
Right.
It's a cute little college. I mean, I really loved it there.
All right, guys. Catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate both of you.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
thanks for coming on.
My pleasure.
All right, see ya.
You cut this? Did you cut it yet?
Beyond the satchel, beyond the job, I'm done with my